Hi everyone, Wendy Shaw here from Creative Shenanigans. I have a couple of techniques I wanted to show you today. We're going to be using the Simply Succulent and the Potted Succulents dies. So that's these two sets. So I want to, I'm going to put the camera down so you can see what I'm doing, but I wanted to show you right off the bat what comes in those two sets. So let me just get my camera organized here. So this is what comes in the Simply Succulent stamp set. And I'm just going to move some things out of the way. And this is the die cut set. And also, this is another part of the die cut set. So it's one big piece like that. And this is the piece that we're going to be using today for the techniques that I'm going to show you. So that's all we really need. I'm going to put the rest of this away, and I'm going to show you how we're going to use this cool die cut to make some really beautiful cards. So I'm going to start by just showing you the 3 cards that I made with that set. So these are the 3 that I'm going to show you how to make. The colors are beautiful. Love the inks, the way they blend together. We're also going to be using the new Blenders brushes. So I've got 3 of those. I'm going to be showing you how to use those. So let's get started with getting these cards together. So the first one I'm going to show you is, all you do is you put your, and I'm not using my grid paper today because I'm going to show you what I did was use painter's tape. So that's this green tape that painters use. This one is called Painter's Mate Green, but you can really use any tape. What I found was I can tape this right down. I'm using the same tape I used the other day too. You tape this right down. Oh, wait a minute, I need the die cut. Tape the die cut right down on top of your cardstock, and I've cut this out ahead of time so that it's the right size. I'm going to tape it right down onto my work surface here, just like that. Doesn't even have to be all that tidy, as long as the edges are covered. And as I said, I've been using this tape several times, so you just put it right on the edge like that. And then we're just going to use the blender brushes. Today I'm using 3 different colors of ink. And I'm using, so you can see you've got a nice work area around the die cut, so you don't really need to use your grid paper yet. We'll use it later on. So the 3 colors of ink I'm using are just Jade. That's from the most recent 2022 in color set. Then this one is Mint Macaroon, and from the 2019-2020 in color set, this is Pretty Peacock. Love these colors together. They're really pretty. So here's what you do with your blender brushes. So they're just like a makeup brush, really. They feel like a makeup brush. Very soft. So I hope you can see all of that. Okay, I'm going to move it forward a little bit. Okay, all right, so now all you do, and I used this one before, so it's got ink on it, but you can just wash the ink off under cold water. I let them sit overnight, and the ink generally washes out. You can see a little bit of discoloration there, but it's nothing to worry about. So all you do is I'm going to start with the lightest color, which is the Mint Macaroon. I think this is for the other one, yeah. So you just tap your brush on the ink pad, get a little bit on, and then just gently, I use a circular motion, and I start at the outside edge and work my way in so I can make it as light and as dark as I want. And I'm just going to put a few splashes of color around with the Mint Macaroon. Make that whole little, you can see when I do it that it sort of brings out the bud, so to speak. Yeah, so I'm going to use this in a few places, the Mint Macaroon, and you just I hope that I'm moving the brush, so it's kind of moving my tripod and making a noise. I hope that's not driving you crazy. I got a new tripod, so I'm very happy to say that my last one, it was quite a contraption I had with a wrench hanging off the side to counterbalance the weight of my phone. So the next color I'm using is the Just Jade, very pretty color. So I'm going to start on the outside again, just bring it in. Very easy to do. Do a little bit up here. I think that might be good. And then I'm going to use the Pretty Peacock. Now this one can get quite intense, this color, so I'm going to start on the outside and just bring it in gently. Okay. There. I think that's pretty good. All right, now you'll be able to see, all I do is just rip this tape off. I'm going to use it again, so I'm going to put it right beside me here because I don't even need to use another piece. There we go. So you can see you can make a really pretty background. That's what I did for this card. And then I just put it on some Just Jade cardstock. This one is on a different color, but I've got a couple here that, so this one's going to be on a Just Jade cardstock. Then I put a little bit of the Pretty Peacock, the Just Jade, little strip of for the label, the sentiment. And that's going to be my card. So easy and so pretty, such a pretty result. I used a little bit of ribbon. You don't have to, just do whatever you feel you want to do. And I also used the, these were the 2019-21 in color faceted dots, and I used those on these cards. So I have a couple packs, and I'm going to use those on this one as well. But if I don't think those are available anymore, so if they're not, there's all kinds of really pretty little embellishments and faceted dots like that you can use. So you don't need to feel like, oh darn, don't have that, so I can't make the card. You can use whatever. You could even put clear ones on. Okay, so I'm gonna, that's one technique with this great little die cut. Love this. The other one is, I'm going to show you how we use this. Now what I did was I cut out the die cut. So we're going to be using the actual cut out piece on Whisper White, and I'm going to put it right over top of another piece of Whisper White. And by doing so, I'm actually going to be creating the front of two cards at the same time. So I made these two cards the same way. So this is going to be from the background piece, and this is from the die cut part. And I'll show you how that's going to work. Okay, so now all I need to do is, again, take my painter's tape. I'm going to stick this down right over top of the edge of this white, Whisper White. And because it's painter's tape, it seems to just come off so easily. It's really a great little sort of technique or idea. So you don't have to, use some really good stuff or worry about it ripping your cardstock, because it just comes off so easily. Oh, there's two pieces of tape here. Okay, I'm going to stick that one down here, and I've left the edge because I want it to have a little white edge. If you can see on this has got a little white edge all the way around it. So I want to have that effect. So I'm just putting the tape right on the edge. So I'm not covering up, I'm just covering up that little white edge, not the actual die cut itself. All right, now I'm going to use that same technique with the three colors. I'm going to start again with my light mint macaroon. And I think I'll start down here this time. Now you can see how easily that color goes on. So you really be kind of careful depending on how dark you want it. You and start from the outside, as I said, work your way in, and then you can kind of control the color and the amount of ink that you get on. I don't know what that is on my die cut there. There. Okay, I think that's maybe what I'm going to use for that. Then I'm going to use the Just Jade. That's this one. Okay. Now see, this one's going to be a little bit deeper color. Just circular motions. I love these colors together. They're so pretty. They just complement each other so nicely. Okay, now I'm going to use the Pretty Peacock. And you end up with a new result every single time you do this kind of technique and using these brushes. It's kind of fun to see what you're going to end up with. So this is going to have a lot more blue in it, I think. Yeah. So now, as I said, you can just take these, rinse them under the sink, warm water, and I just let them, I kind of, press the water out, and then I let them sit overnight and dry. So I've just got these 3 that I've been using over and over again. So now I want to just show you. You take this painter's tape off again, just like that. Very easy. Doesn't rip anything. Now, what you end up with is actually 2 fronts. So for this one, I'm going to put this card now, this die cut right on top of this Whisper White. However, and this one, now I didn't quite get it straight there, so be careful when you're doing that. But you can see that it's gonna be slightly different than this one. Just the way the ink has gone on. But they're, it's going to be the same kind of effect. Beautiful cards, just like that. Now this one, actually, I used the stitched, nested, what are they called? Stitched, nested labels dies. They look like this to cut these out. I really like those. That set is really pretty too. Very useful. So, and on this one, I added some of the snowflake ribbon from the winter fall catalog, the mini catalog. And again, some of those gems. So I could add it just to the white cardstock, just like that. Or what I've done with this one is I took my white cardstock and I just got a little bit of color on it. So I'm going to put the grid paper down just for this. I'm going to use the same brushes because they've already got ink on them, and I don't want a lot of ink. Might have to get a little bit more of that one. This is the mint macaroon. It's really pale. So I just want to put a little bit of color behind that die cut, like that. I think the blue, the Pretty Peacock, has got plenty on it, so you really don't even have to put any more ink on. It's going to just change that. It's going to give it a different look completely when you add a little bit of color in the background behind your die cut. I'll show you the difference that makes. Just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to put the die cut on top. Isn't that pretty? So that's going to go on this jade green again, or just jade. But you can see that it would be completely different if I just turned it over and I used the Whisper White all by itself. It gives you another different effect. So lots of options for doing that. I also just wanted to show you quickly what I did on the inside of these cards. So this is the inside of the cards that I've been making. So what I did was that first technique that I showed you, I used the actual die cut on top of the Whisper White without cutting out the die cut as I did on this one. I just used the die cut right on there and just did the edges. So you can still put a sentiment anywhere on your card, lots of room to write, but it gives you a little something inside rather than just the plain white, and it coordinates nicely with the outside of your card. So that's about it for these. Very quickly, I was making, you know, probably half an hour. I had a couple cards made. They're so quick and easy and yet so beautiful. I love those colors. So hope you enjoyed that. I hope you find it helpful, and I'll see you again. Bye now.